Welcome back. Today I'm bringing you 4 stories from Reddit about creepy stalker encounters. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started. Number 1. I was already splitting up with my high school boyfriend, me a senior and him a junior, because he was already controlling, judgmental, and abusive. I was moving on to college at a local university and he went crazy and lost his mind completely. He began by sending threatening messages, about 200 a day, phone calls, showing up during my classes, showing up at my house. He even broke into my car and sat in the back seat. My best friend and I had gone to the movies and come out, and I was going to drop her off at home, and she noticed a huge mark on the passenger side of the car. Looked in the back seat, and there he was laying on the floor trying to hide. Because of that, I bought a new car with new plates. He broke into my dorm room, and then I left the dorms because I felt unsafe and moved into an apartment not far from the college campus with 2 female roommates. He found out where I was living and broke in there too while I was in the shower. I told him to get the fuck out, and he came after me with a knife. I had to call the cops and lock myself in the bathroom. He was gone by the time the cops showed up. Even when I was dating a new guy who was an absolute gentleman, and I warned him about my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend decided to crash one of our dates and jump on the new guy with 5 of his friends. I also ended up with my face smashed in for being a cheating whore. I moved back to my parents' house. My ex-boyfriend attempted to break into my parents' house at about 5 o'clock on Sunday, so my entire family was home. My dad had finally caught him and put a gun in his mouth, and that was finally the end of it. Just so you know, my dad's 6'5" and ex-military and also very scary. I don't think he killed him, just scared him enough, and he has left me alone thus far and hasn't tried to communicate with me since. Number 2. This all happened several years ago, while I was still dating my girlfriend before we moved in. We only met because we shared a college class together, and while I lived pretty close to campus, she would commute nearly an hour and a half every day by carpool. Because of this, we scheduled our dates several days ahead of time. Despite this planning, the meetups were never intricate. Of course, we always began with the pretense of watching a movie or something, but we usually ended up going back to her house for better use of the time. So, I watched a movie at Sarah's place the night before her birthday, mostly so I could be the first one to give her a gift and sing the song and whatnot. As such, I woke up a little early with the intention of preparing something nice for her to wake up with. At first, I just lay mostly asleep, but finally the ambient noise and the light penetrating through the gaps in the curtain spurred me from my trance. I cooked breakfast, which was tougher than I anticipated because I couldn't find the kitchen knife that was usually used to chop ingredients, leaving me only butter knives. As I woke up a little more, I remembered that I left my phone on a small table in the hallway. Taking the risk, I left the omelet alone for a few seconds so I could grab it, but it wasn't there. I figured I must have moved it or something the previous night and returned promptly to the pan. By the time I had breakfast arranged, my girlfriend shuffled groggily out of her bedroom. Of course, she was impressed by my efforts, not even complaining when she plucked a shell fragment from her omelet. I wished her happy birthday and all that jazz, and only after that did I remember to continue to search for my phone. I walked in the hallway again and examined the area all around the table. I asked my girlfriend if she had seen my phone. She said the last time she saw it, it was sitting on the table by the closet. And yeah, I thought that too, but oh well, my phone can wait. After she finished breakfast, she opened her gift, comprising of a bag of her favorite type of beef jerky, 2 handmade bracelets. Pretty meager, I know, but I was broke and she seemed to enjoy it anyways. Next, she opened the present from her parents, which arrived in the mail the day before. Inside the box was a laptop computer and a check for $2,000. Her parents were filthy rich, and my gift suddenly seemed hilariously inadequate. I tried not to seem put off, though. That's when she looked at me and asked, "So, when do I get the surprise?" I looked at her confused and asked her, "What surprise?" She responded, "Oh, come on, the jig is up." She laughed. "You texted me about it. Can't wait to give you your surprise, Sarah." She read it out loud on her phone. "You didn't even spell my name right." She seemed very amused, but I frowned, confused. When did you receive that message? I asked her. Saying, about 3:30 in the morning. She frowned too. Were you awake at 3:30? No, I said seriously. Her phone vibrated and she jumped. It's another message, she said breathlessly. It's from you. I gestured for her to open it up. Your surprise is coming, Sarah. She read uneasily. We looked at each other like, let's get out of the house now, she said in a low voice, as if afraid she would be overheard. I nodded, and I remembered that my coat was still in her closet, so I ducked into the hallway to retrieve it. When I pulled on the knob, however, the door didn't budge. This was odd because it didn't have a lock on either side. With a massive heave, I managed to yank the door open just a sliver, only to have it slam closed again. It was like pulling two magnets apart. Then I heard the clattering of something falling to the floor of the closet. It was the knife from the kitchen. Number 3. Last April, I was scrolling down Facebook, just an ordinary night in the life of a working barista. Get off work, go home, scroll Facebook, repeat. It was a fairly simple cycle I'd adapted very quickly. Some part of me wanted to think it was unhealthy. I had been scrolling for a while until I saw a friend request from a completely random girl. I hovered my arrow over her name, Tracy, and there was no last name, just Tracy. She had no friends, no bio, and nothing in the About section. The only thing that was listed was that she was a student at the same college as me, which made for interesting conversation, I guess. I clicked on the photo tab and find it full, overflowing with dark-seated photos of unbelievable objects of demonic presence. The first was a bloody hand resting over a black lake. The next was a sunflower painted black and dripping with blood. I found this odd, as sunflowers are normally a sight to behold. Taking into account that they are a happy color, this random bitch had ruined sunflowers for me. But nevertheless, I felt bad for Tracy. She obviously didn't have any friends and wanted to make some, so I friended her back. I didn't think much of the gesture, and later I ignored it completely. In fact, it wasn't until 3 weeks that I first heard from Tracy after the request was accepted. She created a conversation in Messenger with black message bubbles and a nickname for me which read Victim Number 55. That should have sent up a red flag almost immediately, but I was too oblivious to even notice. A day later, Tracy sent me the first message in our thread. It was a video of me cleaning up after my shift at the coffee shop the night before. I sent a few question marks in reply as I didn't comprehend what she was trying to tell me. She says cute lol and sends a smiley face sticker behind it. I need to mention that I'm a female, which makes all the Facebook flirting 10 times worse. Then she proceeds to tell me how hot I looked in my apron and how she wishes that one day we can meet. Deep in my mind, I found it creepy, but I didn't care. I assumed she was being nice. Thanks, sure, it'd be nice to meet, I responded. She replies almost instantly, saying that she was in dorm 2B on the outer wing. I didn't know what to reply as it seemed like she was way too open with her location, so I just left it alone. I was driving to work the next day and was trying to juggle my coffee and keys in one hand and steer with the other. A giant bump in the middle of the road causes me to splash coffee all over my shirt and a little on my lap. I pulled over, struggling to lift the stain when I get a ding from Messenger. It was a video from Tracy. When I open it, it's a gif of me spilling coffee all over my car with a caption that reads, Coffee Klutz. I sighed, frustrated. I quickly typed back, ha ha ha, very funny, and locked my phone. Later that night at a party, the video was somehow wired to the big screen where people were gathered all around watching Vines. Over 300 people saw that gif and I was totally embarrassed. Now I would like to point out that I'm a college student, so no petty high school bullies decided to make the name Coffee Klutz stick, but it was embarrassing because in the end of the clip there's a bonus feature, me pulling into an alleyway to remove my shirt and rezip my jacket over my bra. Everyone was stunned, but I was angry. I angrily pulled out my phone and unfriended Tracy, hoping to send a clear-cut final message to her. Fast forward for about a month where things were normal. I was visiting my family out of state for the summer. I'm originally from Florida, so it was nice to get away from the world and hit the beach. My best friend Beatrice was with us, and we decided to play a game of beer pong at the local pub one night. As I kept missing the ball and B kept making them in, I kept drinking and getting more and more drunk. Eventually, I made one in and B began to drink the cup. In the clip that was shared to my phone later, my shirt was removed and I was wearing a thong. Tracy had altered the clip of me in the alleyway to make a viral video of me supposedly stripping in a bar, and I was embarrassed to hell and back. "What's this bitch's problem?" B asked. "I don't know, but it's fine because I'm going to the dean on Monday and reporting her," I said. School was starting, so I went to the dean of admissions to make sure that Tracy was charged for her actions. "I'm sorry, but we don't seem to have a Tracy Hickok in this school," the dean told me. "Like, that's impossible. You saw the page. She's a person," I said. "I know, but as far as we know, Tracy could be an alias name. The only advice I can give you is to be careful," the dean said. Everything was fine until last week. It's been a year since the last attack by Tracy, but it's getting worse. She's been posting photos of me with my insides on the outside and with blood all over my corpse. I was tired of it, but there was nothing I could do. Last night, after my shift, I was closing up. It was around 11, and pretty much the entire shop was vacant. I walked to my car after saying goodbye to the chef. I head to my car, which was in the parking lot behind the building, and immediately I'm stabbed and kicked to the ground. I'm out cold, but I can feel my body being pulled and dragged into the grass, where I lied until someone found me and called the police. "Who stabbed you, miss?" the doctor asked me. "I only know her name, Tracy Hickok," I said. After that night, I was always told that Tracy didn't exist, and that I was always imagining things. But after being stabbed nearly to death by my cyberstalker and pinned on trying to commit suicide, I was institutionalized and mentally evaluated. I'm currently writing this in the recreation room of the mental ward. Well, my time is almost up and I should go. I just wanted someone to know my story. Number 4. This happened to me a few nights ago and it's been getting worse. The only reason I'm posting this is because I've read a few stories on here that seem like I'm not the only one who has experienced something like this. It was April 28th around 10:30 at night. I worked third shift, so I was getting ready for work like usual. Every window in my house had curtains or blinds except for one room. The one room that should have blinds and curtains for privacy, the bathroom. I live out in the country with two neighbors. I can see if I walk to the end of my driveway and can barely see their mailboxes. So I figured my bathroom window, facing the woods in my backyard, wouldn't be a place to worry about curtains. Well, I was wrong. I heard something when I was smoking in the bathroom before my shower. I had the window open while smoking a cigarette. I kept hearing what sounded like footsteps. It was raining, so I thought it was just the raindrops. I ignored it, closed the window, and got into the shower. I don't normally spook easily, but as soon as I put shampoo in my hair, I felt an uneasy feeling. That's when I heard something, the bathroom window sliding open. I yanked open the curtain, trying to see if my girlfriend snuck in and tried to scare me. When I finally got a clear look after the water and soap had left my eyes, my heart started racing. There were handprints and a face print where someone pressed against the window. I yelled for my girlfriend to see if it was her, but she didn't answer. I turned back to the window and there he was, face pressed against the window, smiling wide enough to split the corner of his lips. I jumped back and screamed loud enough to wake my neighbors. My screaming must have startled him because he ran off. I grabbed my phone and called the cops, telling them what happened, and it took about 15 minutes before they got here. After what felt like hours, but was probably 10 minutes, they told me that they found nothing out of the ordinary, and if I see the man again, to call them. I was more than annoyed, but had no other choice but to just hope it didn't happen again. The next night, still rattled by it, I decided not to leave my girlfriend home alone and call in to work. It got to be around 3 a.m. and I was getting ready to go to bed. I had to go to the bathroom and was a little nervous about the night before because of what happened. I was relieved to see no grinning face, but hurried anyways and hopped into bed, and that's when tapping and giggling started. My heart nearly pounded through my chest as I sat up panting. Had I imagined it? I carefully listened to see if I heard it again, but there was nothing. Like an idiot, I thought it was maybe my mind playing tricks on me in the half awake, half asleep daze I was in. I finally fell asleep and was relieved when I woke up to the sun pouring through the curtains. I groggily stumbled to the bathroom for my morning pee. As I walked, I nearly shit myself. The window was open, and there was writing on my bathroom window. "Ignoring us won't help." Update. Okay, so I think my family is being stalked officially now. After finding the writing on the bathroom window, I talked to my girlfriend. I told her that somebody is either messing with us or we have a stalker, and she asked me what happened. I could see the color drain from her face and her eyes bulged with fear. Seeing her this afraid almost made me regret even saying anything. I told her to go look in the bathroom. I said it trying to sound calm, but failing miserably. I mean, who could keep themselves composed in a situation like this? We all like to think we would be a solid presence for our family in times like this, but in reality, we are just as afraid as they are, and fear is something you can't hide as easily as you think. Anyways, I open the door, and once again, my heart pounds and pure adrenaline races through me. The window is closed, and there's no rating on the mirror. What is it? She asked, looking confused and kind of annoyed. I told her we need to go, now. I practically dragged her to the door, and we jumped in the car and raced out of there like a bat out of hell. She asked me, "Babe, what the hell is going on?" She is in tears at this point, and I feel terrible. I told her the bathroom window was open and someone wrote on the window. I said it in a sheer panic, and she said she didn't see anything. At this point, we were both shouting, and that's why we're getting out of here. They were in the fucking house. When she heard this, she broke down crying, and I felt so bad, but I knew it was the right decision to get her out of there and let her know how serious it was. We got to my mom's house 20 minutes later and asked to stay, which was obviously okay. Throughout the day, I told my mom what was happening, and she looked at me like I was on drugs, but thankfully didn't question me. When I finally got ready for bed, I was so tired I practically passed out sitting up on the couch. Around 3 a.m. is when I first heard the light tapping on the window. My heart began to race, and I knew they followed us. Before checking the window, I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and tiptoed to the tapping. I've never felt fear of this magnitude before. It made my hands shake. But just like a scary movie, I slowly crept to the window. I slightly peeked out of the curtain, and at first was relieved when I saw nothing. But then I saw him. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life. He was standing with his back to the woods while smiling that huge grin at me. I nearly shit my pants. "What the fuck?" I yelled. I heard footsteps racing downstairs, and my mom and my girlfriend came out looking startled. "What? What is it?" my mom hollered. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I fainted. When I woke up, the ambulance and police were at the house. After about 10 minutes of explaining I was fine now, I avoided a trip to the hospital. Then the police pulled me aside and told me something that made me regret ever going to my mom's house. They showed me a note stuck to the windshield of my car, and it said, "Bringing your mom to the party. How nice." I hope you enjoyed the previous 4 stories of Stalker encounters. If you did, please subscribe and like for the future, because the next video I'll be bringing is Philippines Ghost Stories, which will be the second of my international series, bringing you stories from around the world based off of ghosts, supernatural creatures, folklore, all experiences people claim to have. Thank you and have a good night.